One day, toward the end of my workday, out of nowhere, I started feeling off. When I was walking to my car after work, I felt like I was walking like on a boat and felt a bit nauseous. Hi, I'm Jeffrey, physical therapist, and welcome to Life of a PT. Our clinic offers vestibular rehab, and we have vestibular therapists who treat vestibular issues, and I'm not one of them. I don't really have much interest in seeing vestibular patients. For me, it's like another language with all the testing and all the maneuvers. Dix-Hallpike, Branderoff, Epley's, Samant. You also have a bunch of abbreviations like MSQ, DVA, VOR, VNG. For me, vestibular rehab is kind of like pharmacology. I just have a hard time understanding it, so maybe that's why I don't like it. Let's go over some vestibular facts everyone should know. It's good to know whether your dizziness symptoms are vestibular related or not. When patients tell me they get dizzy, one of the first things I ask is whether their dizziness is more an unsteadiness feeling or is it room spinning dizziness. Then I'll ask a couple follow-up questions, like if the dizziness is brought about by position changes, if you have a hard time reading and following words with your eyes, and if your dizziness is accompanied with lightheadedness feeling, and that could be more blood pressure related. Knowing whether the damage is in the peripheral or central vestibular system is important in making differential diagnosis and also predicting prognosis. Lesions to the central vestibular system involve the brainstem or cerebellum. In other words, central vestibular dysfunction is bad, worse than peripheral. Vertigo is one of the common symptoms that people report when they have vestibular issues. Vertigo is that spinning dizziness that people describe, like the room spinning, and usually is triggered by certain positions. When the crystals in your inner ear are dislodged or out of place from their normal position. Depending on where the crystals have fallen out of place, there are repositioning maneuvers to essentially put them back in place and to help restore and eliminate that dizziness feeling. Now back to that random day where I felt like I was walking or stepping on foam and I just felt off. Later that night, when I got home and when I got in bed, when it was time to sleep, I laid back, flat on my back, and I remember it felt a little bit more dizzy. And when I rolled over to the left, so to one side, the symptoms got worse. So I felt even more dizzy than I did throughout the day, and even a little bit more nauseous as well. I wouldn't describe it as a room spinning dizziness, but it was definitely dizzy. It really just felt off. Luckily, I have a lot of coworkers who performed a vestibular rehab, so I was able to get checked out and they tested me the next day at work. It turned out I had horizontal canal, BPPV, which is not very common, only about 10 to 15% of BPPV cases. They had me do the Lempert barbecue roll maneuver a couple times that day, and 2 days later, my dizziness completely resolved, which is great. As far as how I got it in the first place, I have no idea. That sometimes can be the case with BPPV. It's more likely in people over the age of 50. Let me know if you guys have ever experienced dizziness with vestibular issues. Thank you guys for watching, and click here to watch my last vlog where I went to a Rockets game with some of my buddies.